Here's me overseas, across the pond by the Dover Peaks. I've smuggled myself into new nationality.
Hey, what's up, guys? This is Halfway, broadcasting from around the world in Phnom Penh, Cambodia. Just wanted to give you a little look around today. So today is Friday, the 30th of September, and here in Phnom Penh they have a holiday. It's called, I think it's called like Pakumben. So I might be saying that completely wrong, but basically it means Ancestors Day. So as you can see, like there's like hardly any traffic today. You can see like all these shops are closed. There's like maybe I think one down here open, but everything is closed. So it's like a big national holiday. So a lot of people go out of town. So the city is much quieter than usual, and also not a lot of things are open. But I just wanted to talk about maybe this holiday a little bit and just kind of some thought that I had when I was kind of thinking about the meaning of this. Yeah, so this is called, like I said, Ancestors Day. I've spoken about in another video that I was talking about how Cambodia is a Buddhist country, specifically Theravada Buddhist. And also how I spoke about in that video a little bit too, how it's not an unadulterated form, in my opinion, it's not an unadulterated form of Theravada Buddhism. So this holiday isn't a Buddhist holiday per se. It's a Cambodian holiday that is intertwined with the Buddhist faith or Buddhist philosophy, however you want to look at it. Essentially, from what I understand, basically it's a day of atonement for things that you have maybe racked up some bad karma for. So basically, it's to pay like homage to your ancestors. So they go to like the monasteries, or like the temples, and like give the monks gifts of like food and stuff to like help build up your karma. And then also it's supposed to be like on this day, like the I guess like the gates of hell can like open up, so you want to do like good things to like keep away like evil spirits or something. And again, like I studied Buddhism and specifically Theravada Buddhism for quite a while, and these aren't things like this isn't like a great representation of what Theravada Buddhism, in my opinion, is all about. But either way, it's a big holiday here. It's a national holiday. It's like I think it's technically like a 14 or 15 day holiday, but they take 4 days for the actual like holiday that is specifically designated toward the holiday. So for like work, I don't have work for a few days. Like a lot of businesses, and banks, and everything's closed. But it got me thinking. Like it's something that I've thought about before. Like atonement or forgiveness, as well as punishment, to me are like they're philosophies or ideas that I don't think actually even really make sense. Sometimes, again, this is just my opinion. So take it, however you want. Take it with how many ever grains of salt you want to take it with. But things like forgiveness and punishment inherently don't make sense, because I feel like a lot of times what we do is we take like our linguistics, we take language, and we try to manifest that into the real world. And the reason to me that these things don't make sense is starting with just entropy, just in general, entropy and time. And just if you're not familiar with entropy, it's basically just the idea that, so say maybe you spray some Febreze like in your living room. At some point, that Febreze is going to break up and should be, in theory, equally dispersed throughout the room that it's in. Or if you take salt and add it to water and stir up your glass of water, at some point the water should be diluted equally at every area through the glass with salt. And that's the same way that time works. There's no real reason that time only can go forward, and why time can't go backward. And I promise this will be a little bit relevant. The way that we experience time, it's part of like the second law of thermodynamics, which just states like that basically entropy will happen. So the way that we experience time is because of the entropy of the collective chaos of the universe kind of unraveling from its disordered state. But anyway, my point is that you can't. If we start with let's start with punishment, right? So what is the point of punishing someone? So if somebody did something wrong, let's say I come up to you and I kick you in the shin, let's say. So I caused you some grief. I did something that caused you pain and detracted from your existence, from your life, from your well-being. So to punish me, it can't get anything back for you. It can't take away the fact that I kick you in the shin. It can't take away your pain that you're experiencing. The only thing punishment can do is two things. So I guess the only things it can do is, one, it can make you feel better about the fact that I did something to harm you. So if I kick you in the shin, so you could say my punishment maybe should be I get kicked in the shin. So you get to kick me in the shin. But again, that doesn't actually do anything beneficial for you. It doesn't give you any better feelings or help your way of life any better. The only thing it does is give you an internal satisfaction that, hey, you kicked me in the shin, now I get to kick you in the shin. And I think that that's not even the main point of punishment. I think specifically punishment is to prevent someone from doing something again. So I think when you look at punishing people, it doesn't make sense. Not to say that there shouldn't be punishment, because again, I think the main point of punishment is to stop somebody from doing something again. But I think that so many of the ways that we utilize that is detrimental to how we are evolving and carrying on as a society in some ways. So especially if it comes to let's say drug addiction, I think the war on drugs is one of the greatest examples of that, of how terrible punishment is. So if somebody has an addiction to drugs, I don't even think drugs should be illegal, because it doesn't make sense. If somebody wants to ingest something and they want to feel a certain way, I don't think that we should have the ability to tell them that they can't do that. Again, unless if it's taking away from somebody else's life, or if it's causing a general problem, then I think that those are issues that need to be dealt with. But if somebody recreationally wants to use drugs, for example, I don't think that should be something that should be disallowed from them being able to do. But either way, so when you arrest people for using drugs, especially if it's somebody that has a problem, that it just doesn't make sense. It's not getting to the core of the issue. So if somebody is addicted to drugs, so it's making them maybe go out and do other things or hurt other people, then of course that's something that has to be dealt with. But to just straight up, throw somebody in jail over something like that, it's not getting to the core of the issue. And I think that's the problem with punishment in terms of dissuading people from doing something, is that punishment doesn't always work. So again, going back to a drug addiction, obviously it's somebody needs help. They need something more than just a punishment. They need something more than just being reprimanded. There has to be some end reason as to why they should stop using the drugs. more so than you're going to get in trouble, because obviously that doesn't work, because people still will do it. And people will still always do things, that are detracting from other people, and I recognize that. But my point is just that I think we kind of have to reevaluate on certain things, like what punishment really means. And then also on the same ticket, kind of forgiveness, like what it really will mean to forgive. So to speak about forgiveness again, like it's kind of the same thing. Like if you kick me in the shin, I can say that I forgive you, but I can't really forgive your action because it already happened. There's nothing I can do. Like I can't say I forgive you, and the action doesn't go away. It still happened. And the same thing with, again, with punishment, whether you get punishment or not, the actions still happen. So it has to be calculated toward the future. It has to be looking forward. So I think when people say, I forgive you, it's almost like a verbal contract when you're kind of saying like, hey, you did this, but I trust that you won't do it again. And it's kind of the same thing with punishment. It's kind of like saying like, hey, you did this, so how do we prevent you from doing it again? And I just feel like, I don't know. I just feel like there's different ways that we could look at punishment and forgiveness. And I think with a lot of things, again, I think we use language to try to describe and enact things in the real world that linguistics and language just can't personify accurately. But anyway, happy Ancestors Day. I know I'm going to enjoy a few days off here, and I hope you guys all have a great day. All right, as always, halfway broadcasting from around the world. Stay easy, guys. Peace out.